Lights, camera, action. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have the privilege of welcoming a rising star whose talent and dedication have brought her to the forefront of Indian cinema. At such a tender age, she has already captured hearts with her portrayal of Raia in the mega blockbuster film Kalki 2898 AD. Her journey from auditions to the silver screen is a testament to her passion and perseverance. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Keya Nair.
I feel like you're overhyping me.
No, of course you will need this. And not to mention, she has done more interviews than Prabhas already. All right. So it's been weeks since the movie has come out, and how has the response been to you?
To me, much more than I thought it would. I mean, I knew there'd be an enormous response to the movie itself, but like the fact that there's like people actually messaging me being like, do you want to be friends? And I'm just like, I want to act with you in a movie, tell me how you got the movie. And like it's so weird because like before the movie started, like you don't know how the response is going to be to your specific character, and knowing that my character wasn't the most prominent character, one of the most prominent characters, I didn't expect the kind of traction that I got, but I got it.
Well, congratulations to you on that then.
Thank you so much.
Right, so if you were to, give us a brief on how the spotlight changed you?
How the spotlight changed me. Maybe boring, but I don't think it changed me at all, dude. Like,
Okay, fine, let me rephrase that. How did it change people around you?
I honestly think that like I've mostly surrounded myself with people who are like supportive, and so that way, other than like extreme gratefulness, I was freaking out before the movie came out. I'm freaking out once the movie has come out. There's not been much of a character development or anything like that. That's just Raia, that's not me.
So I think about 4 years ago you have auditioned to Kalki, right?
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years. Okay. So how has the response been? I mean, to you when you got to know that you got the role for Raia, who's playing along with Amitabh Bachchan?
Don't even, because I mean, when I first got the audition, I got it through an audition poster, and it was on the poster only that I knew that the three big actors, Deepika, Amitabh Bachchan, and Prabhas were all part of the movie, and I genuinely like did not. I was never like under the impression that I would be part of something this big. I wasn't even gonna give an audition, but I was like, chalo, I mean, there's no harm in like making a video and sending it,
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is the most embarrassing video I think I've ever made in my entire life. If anyone sees that, I'm ready to like die.
So tomorrow when you go to Karan Johar, that's gonna be playing.
Oh God! No, oh God! But I gave the video. They called me for a physical audition, and I didn't know it then, but this was actually the scene that I first met Ashwa uncle, Bachchan sir in the movie, and after that. They called me for a costume trial, okay? And stupid me, at this point, I still did not at all think I got the role. Even though they called me for a costume trial, because I'm like, yeah, they probably do this with all the people who audition. But at the costume trial, people, I mean, it wasn't very directly said, but from the way that people were talking, the way that HOD Archana was talking, it sounded like they were kind of like measuring things and making things for me specifically. And so I was like, wait.
So what's happening?
But and finally the second costume trial, I did another tiny video audition at the costume place. I had to be this like insistent, annoying kid who like didn't stop like questioning somebody, and Swapna and Priyanka came to meet me, and then Nagi came to meet me, and I was like, okay, I don't think that this happens with every single person who auditions. And about a week later, we got a call saying that I've 99% got the role, and then basically they just had to call and tell me shoot dates, and I got the role after that. Yeah,
Wow.
that was pretty insane.
So if anyone needs auditions, I'm there. Please. So contact me. So, what's Kaya, right?
Yeah.
No, originally, I thought your name was Raia. And then this guy called me and he told me, dude, it's Keya. Keya. Can you tell us a bit about the character in the movie, Raia?
Um, well, I think like everyone can see on screen also, she's a very curious and very adventurous. She's very adventurous and she wants to be involved in basically everything. And that way, like I honestly had a very easy time playing her because I feel like that's a lot like me.
And you're playing.
No, not like you.
And also the fact that you're also playing the age.
Exactly. I'm not really. I'm supposed to be playing some 11-year-old. But yeah, I mean, it was easy for me to play her in the sense that like I sympathize and empathize a lot with her. Not that like everyone I know has died or anything, but in the way that I'm also like curious and stuff. But I do think like over the last 3 years, Raia has definitely like it's become like a different personality of me only. So it's like I have two personalities, I have Keya and Raia, and so that way I'm able to switch on set very easily.
So usually people, like actors, do find similarities between their character they've played and the person themselves. Did you find any similarities between the character you played and yours?
Well, Raia seems to be a very impulsive little girl as well, right? And that's unfortunate. Like, for example, one of the main storylines, spoiler alert, of the movie is that I'm a girl who pretends to be a boy. And that was never part of the story. I was supposed to look like a girl. But about a month or two before shoot, I decided to shave my head off without thinking about it. This is after I got the role. So I'm technically not supposed to. But so I video called my mom. I'm like, so I did something. And she was like, cool with it at first. But then she was like, and I was like, so she told me and I was like, oops. But yeah, they basically had to incorporate that storyline into it because I did that. So that way I feel like Raia also is someone who like kind of doesn't really care about what anyone else thinks and just does whatever.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing. I'm not trying to brag about that, but yeah, that way I think I sympathize with her.
That's nice. So now talking about spoilers and all, how do you keep it a secret for the last 3 years? Especially you being so impulsive. You would have told it to so many people. So how do you keep it like a...
My mom was actually very worried about that too. But when you're talking about secret, I mean, all my close friends and family knew.
So you broke the pinky swear.
Pinky swear.
Don't be Tom Holland, essentially. Right, so one big question of mine is, how was it working beside the big B?
That's my question too, dude.
And he seemed big.
Yeah! Like I'm on set and it's hard enough that he's Amitabh Bachchan. But also have to like look up like this and do my dialogue.
You taken steroids in the last 3 years.
No, but how is it working with him is such an insane question to ask. Because I don't even think I've registered it till now. Because from the outside looking in, it's like, oh, it's a big actor. But when you're on set and they're there, like in front of you, 4 feet away from you, it doesn't click. Like you can't connect the fact that this was the guy in Sholay, this is the guy in Satya Pasata, this was the guy who's basically made Indian cinema and he's sitting there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to say I wasn't nervous because I was...
And that efforts at that age is also really remarkable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously he had stunt doubles doing a lot of the stunts for him, but there were scenes that he's like, no, I'll do it myself. Like the scene, one of the famous scenes where I'm on the finger, the statue, and he's behind me. He was doing that himself with a harness on the statue. And he was even complaining. He's like, I just had a surgery. Why are you guys making me do this? But he was he was such a sport on set. He did a lot of his scenes by himself, completely on his own. And yeah, being around him, I mean, like honestly speaking, a lot of people can't tell, but when I look back at those scenes, I wish I could redo them. Because me looking at myself, I looked so nervous and like I wish I could redo them.
Impulsive nature.
But I don't know, dude. Like I was so nervous on the first shoot. Like first day actually, during shoot, I was shooting the entire day, and not last scene, but the last couple of scenes, it was like 8 at night, and we were supposed to shoot until like 11. But I had a mental breakdown because like I wasn't able to do one of the lines, and there was like 20 takes. I started crying on set, and they were like, okay, cut. And he's like, okay, you go home and you can come back tomorrow and do it. So in the beginning, I was very, very nervous. And it was extremely embarrassing crying in front of Bachchan sir. But after that, he also made it like more comfortable for me. Like he made an effort to talk to me, to have conversation with me. So it started becoming less of like, something it's almost an object that I'm looking at versus a person. Exactly. Yeah. So once we started connecting, we practiced lines together on set, which made me less nervous. And so it just got better and better, honestly.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's quite wonderful. So how's like a normal day on the set of Kalki? Like in the dystopian
we
world.
heard it's supposed to be one of the best sets, at least for the experienced ones like Amal sir and Amitabh Bachchan. Apparently they found it really new, especially with the green screen. And at the same time, apparently it's supposed to be very quiet, which is very rare.
I remember there was like every 10 seconds someone yelling shut up to everybody else to like shut your mouth because there's like scenes going on. Yeah. But the sets were incredible. Like even though so much of it was VFX, beautiful VFX by the way, because they made entire cities just like Spawn. But like the main sets, so like Kashi, the actual entire set was there. That was the set that they built. I've been on that set. And Shambhala, the tree, all of that was built on set.
Including the tree?
The entire thing was there.
Oh my god.
Like that was the set, and it was insane. The sets were like insane. They were insane.
So now, while talking on sets, there were many people you're working with, obviously. Let's talk about any fun, memorable, weird instances, anything that reminds you of the.
Not the breakdown. We've got.
I can't have another one right now, guys. No, but it's so weird because, like, given the fact that I've spent 3.5 years on this project, and anyone asks, "Oh, give us a funny anecdote," and my mind goes blank. I can't think of anything. But like, I mostly had most of my fun times were with Bachchan sir because like he was like also like he was very conversative with me especially.
So you guys are like besties now.
Basically, like just.
What B stands for, dude? Bestie.
But yeah, I mean there were times. I mean he was like very involved with me. So like every time there was, and it was so funny watching him on set because between shots and stuff, he never went back to his trailer. He wanted to be on set. So this is like what Bachchan sir looked on a normal day on the Kalki set. He's in his costume. You can see a little bit of the white pant sticking out from under the leg and his chappals. And he's sitting there in full costume with his phone and
Were you ever like intimidated like that?
Was I intimidated? What kind of a question is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're looking and there's 5 plastic chairs stacked on top of each other with one pillow on top and he's sitting on top of this every single time. That was exactly how he said. That was a very, very funny thing that happened. And most of our conversations, like one of the first things he said to me was, he was asking about Tara, my twin. And I told him that we're fraternal twins. And he asked me my age, I said 13. And he's like, when I was 13, I couldn't even spell fraternal. And so I'm like, okay, he's funny too. And yeah, it was just, the times that I spent with him on set was so fun. Oh, but I think one of my favorite times on set was, I was on the Kashi set and we were doing the scene, we were all being chased. Me, Ajju and Luke, so Ayaz and Harshit, we were on set and we were being chased by these raiders. And they're like my best friends on set basically. Like, so we just had a lot of fun filming because there were a couple of scenes that were cut from that as well. There was a scene where I take this plate of like lizards and, because everyone eats lizards in the future apparently.
Oh my God.
And I throw it at some raider's face. And I think we took that like 10 times and Nagi's like, yeah, she's enjoying herself throwing something at somebody else. And I was like, stop exposing me, dude. But that set was so much fun, dude, because I was with people who I was comfortable with. So almost every single time there was a cut and we like burst out into like Bollywood songs and like we started dancing on set and it was so much fun. That was so much fun, dude.
So especially right now when you're giving all these instances, the only dialogue I can remember of yours is that in the cave, you say generation gap on Kunta. But I don't think there was any generation gap off camera. I think you guys were all like...
Bachchan sir is so much more modern than I thought he would be, okay? Like, I think he's more like phone savvy than anyone. He probably knows how to use Instagram better than I do.
Yeah.
He posts one picture and one poem every day on his Instagram, and I'm like kind of like impressed. I'm like, I wish I had that dedication.
Akhil takes fashion style recommendations from Bachchan sir and all, especially with the pre-release event and all. The way he, it's so cool. Just bindas.
Did you see that jacket he was wearing?
Yeah.
I want that jacket, dude.
Yeah.
Chalo, so what is the biggest lesson that you've learned from this entire experience on the set? Apart from, not... Sorry.
Done, dude. Rest of my life I'm gonna be made fun of that for that. But lesson, I mean patience for one, because I'd sit on set for like 4-5 hours easy without shot happening. Because on set it's very unpredictable. Nagis wants to do 50 scenes today and he only gets 15 done.
Oh, okay.
Because when you're working with extras, when you're working with actors, when you're working with background actors, to make sure everything is like synchronized and everything is like flowing and welding together is like extremely difficult. So even though I'm supposed to do a shot at 9 in the morning, a lot of times I do it at 1 in the afternoon. And so I think patience is something I learned. Also patience because, dude, Nagi, I think like I would have lost my... I'd like to consider myself a nice person, but if I was in Nagi's place, I would have started screaming at everybody, dude. Because, I mean, it's obviously hard working with background actors, and some people can't speak Telugu, some people can't speak English, some people can't speak Hindi.
So how was it for you? You don't speak
Not at all.
the Telugu fluently,
No.
so you had to keep memorizing and
Yeah,
then
that's
again
literally
down.
what I had to do, yeah.
So which was easy for you, the Hindi dubbing or like the Telugu one?
Telugu, because I know Hindi, I can speak Hindi.
Yeah.
Telugu, I can't. But I've started to learn Telugu over the last 3.5 years, and I'm going to, especially since every single interviewer has told me, you have to learn Telugu, we have Telugu viewers, you have to speak Telugu, and I'm like,
Yes, we have
all
to
right.
learn Telugu, we have Telugu.
As we all know, this movie was co-produced by Swapna Dutt ma'am and Priyanka Dutt ma'am, two powerhouse women helping the mega production. It's fascinating to see such women take up these roles, and it should be encouraged more. So what do you think? What was the more behind the scenes girl power that you saw?
So, okay, first of all, for a movie this big, it takes a lot of patience, effort, time, which Priyanka and Swapna, I feel like have shown like perfectly, because every time I've seen them, they're very cool and collected all the time. But I've also seen them quite literally do like 5 things at once, They're managing 1,000 things a day. And but every single time I've seen them, they just remain calm and collected. And they basically are like the ones who made this entire thing happen. Them and Ashwini Dutt Garu. He owns basically the entire Vaijayanti Films. And I remember seeing him also on set every day. No matter what day it was, he would be there sitting in one chair watching it all happen.
And we heard he's like a man of very simple...
He's
very
so simple. He's just, he sits there, he says hello to everybody. He kind of lets the production do what they do because he trusts them. So that's like an amazing thing to watch happen. And okay, but like I'm saying, Priyanka and Swapna kind of like made magic happen, They let Nagi use his imagination, but they also reined in whatever they needed to. They made the whole thing happen. And one of the reasons I actually took the project in the first place is because like 70% of the team is all women based, which is amazing to watch. Like the head of the art team was a woman, HOD of costume was a woman, and both people I very good friends with. And it just was really great seeing like women in these like powerhouse roles making the entire thing happen, And so that way it was, and even the people who weren't women were genuinely nice people. Like they were like genuinely respectful, nice people, nice human beings. So that way, like working on this project was also like very eye-opening for me and very like fun for me too, because like it's kind of like motivated me also to want to do well either on this project or on future projects too. So that.
So, being on set, pretty sure you being a child actress, can I assume that you might have gotten special treatment or something?
I'd like
different?
to admit not, but I have to admit yes. I mean, I don't know if I was given special treatment,
Right.
but I got along with everybody. I don't know if it's because I'm a child, but people like production team, whenever like there was always someone asking me, ma'am, do you need water? Ma'am, do you need biscuits? And I'm like, no, fine, I don't need biscuits. But everyone was so nice to me. Like, everyone was extremely nice. And also the fact that I'm a kid, also the production was very like cautious when working with me. They made sure to like all safety hazards were like checked, which I really appreciate. So like harness, they double, triple, quadruple checked. When I was doing any sort of action, any sort of stunt, they always made sure that those safety hazards were taken care of. So that way I feel like, I don't know if I'd call it special treatment, but they definitely like made extra sure that I was comfortable with what I was doing. So that was great, yeah.
So, yeah.
Let me ask now. Yeah. So the movie's plotline is based on a dystopian future.
Yes.
And it somewhat goes along the lines of the Kurukshetra and the Mahabharata.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I have a three-part question. If
Okay.
you can please
Done.
humor me.
Done. I have to get ready now. Okay.
Did you know about the Mahabharata and the Kurukshetra before the movie?
Yeah. I mean, one thing is like, I grew up in a household where we're not like particularly religious or anything, but they were fun stories, dude. It was like bedtime stories, like an Akbar Birbal. My grandmom and my mom used to tell me stories, these tiny stories from the Mahabharata. So I'm quite well versed in the Mahabharata and the Ramayana both.
Okay, so then second question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in the movie, were there things that you did not know about the Mahabharata and the Kurukshetra?
Well, I did know the story of Ashwathama, but I didn't know the details, like the details of his curse and how, and the Kalki, the 10th reincarnation of Kalki, of Vishnu, sorry. And that I learned through working with the movie. But it was so fun and nostalgic for me to like see the story pan out, because these are the stories that I listened to as a kid.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, like practically reliving those
that was literally what it was. So like, a lot of people didn't find the movie as extravagant, spectacular, because they didn't understand the Mahabharata part of it. But for people who do are more well versed with that, like the whole plot line, I mean Prabhas's reveal, everything was like watching it
that
as
was
someone.
so good. That was like goosebumps.
Literally,
Those
like
goosebumps.
watching it as someone who has listened to Mahabharata and knows the story.
And then even,
Dude,
you know,
like,
at this point, it's like a generation gap you're trying to bridge. Because, you know,
Yeah.
these stories are deeply rooted in our culture, especially
and
in India.
I think the really good thing about like mytho sci-fi that I really enjoy is the fact that it's like polar opposites, right? One is from the extreme past and one is literally from the extreme future.
Yeah.
So the fact that like Nagi has fused those things together and like,
so good.
I must say, brilliant movie. Like he's made such a masterpiece. Is like, I'm like so impressed, dude. Like
And I
I
think-
was scared when I was first watching the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope it's not like unbearable. But dude, that movie was so good.
So good.
It was so good.
Especially the interval scene, I was like literally the presence of God was felt. And that was like one of my favorite
Exactly.
scenes. And then one favorite scene I had to mention to you was, I also asked you in the afternoon, where you reveal yourself just before introducing Ashwathama in the fight, where the
On the
arm,
statue,
arm.
yeah.
That was so good.
I mean, filming that. So I remember walking onto that set and seeing the statue, and I was like, I don't care what the scene is, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And then he tells me I'm going to be the one standing on the statue,
Oh,
and I was
wow.
so excited, dude. I was like, I need to see this scene. And
Yeah.
watching it in the theaters was like even better, because like with the VFX and the CGI, it was like goosebumps. It was literal
Definitely,
goosebumps.
yeah.
So now the movie comes with a lot of messages. So what do you think the key message of the movie is that the teenagers will be able to, understand? This is kind of deep thought question.
Yeah. But honestly, like I feel like it was said literally like thousands of times in the movie only. So this is not really me doing any philosophical thinking. This is me like copying the movie basically. But like this whole concept of like a hope in the dark. This whole concept of like, because teenagers, especially hormonal teenagers, which is basically all teenagers, all have like at least one phase in their life where they feel like giving up at some point.
Definitely.
And so I feel like this whole hope in the dark feature, even if it is basically the polar opposite of an actual teenage situation, I feel like that message can carry out in any situation. So that way I feel like it applies to teenagers, it applies to adults, it applies to old people, it applies to basically everybody. I feel like that's a very like general message that the world in general should follow, So I feel like that's like the message.
Not just the plot line, but the movie also bridges the gap.
Yeah, I
between
mean literally the tagline of the movie is Repati Kosam.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it should be that's my now everyday tagline, bro. I don't feel like get up in the morning going to school. I'm like, okay, Repati Kosam, dude.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful tagline.
Yeah.
So on this note, thank you, Keya. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode, and I think it means a lot for us. And with your curiosity, it adds to our curiosity, asking so many questions. And I think I hope you have much more fantastic roles you play in the future.
Thank you
And we
so
hope to
much.
see you more in the next part.
Pinky promise.
Thank you so much. Pinky promise. Cool. That's our secret now. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Cut.